nervous when I have two people who've never really met me before sitting in this chair. So I will be on my best behavior. We have special guests coming on tonight, which is a surprise guest, and I'm very much obliged. Welcome to the Fantastic Live Show. Very grateful to have anybody come in and bless my show with true talent and my love of the arts. Each and every Saturday, we are right here from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It all depends on what time I show up. Just kidding. Sorry, Ron. But please give me a call, 240-719-2560. I'm going to try to keep it PG tonight and very classy, because that's, how I want to be in my next life. But I want to talk about a few things before we have our special guest, Moshe. Perfect. With the dope cufflinks on and an actual, I don't get to meet very many people who actually play instruments, so it's actually a huge big deal to me because I played the clarinet in high school. So clearly we are, just kidding. I couldn't do it because you have to do the spit thing, and it's just, no, I can't. And I sucked. So there was two reasons. So anyway, before we get into anything crazy, I just wanted to talk about my crazy past couple of weeks. My crazy day, Ron called me at 9 a.m. My mother told me don't call anybody before noon. I don't know if maybe, and she's from Baltimore, so I can't say it's a Maryland thing, but I'm going to allow it because I needed to get up early. Ron wanted me to be here early. That's why he did that. No, but I'm just so grateful. Oh, I didn't even get to do the new drop that I did because remember I fired DJ Money from doing my drop. And then DJ Cool is another drop. But I figured you can't go wrong with me doing a drop for my own show because I'll never let myself down. So anyway, shout out to DJ Money who gave me a phone call today. And we are friends again. So, here's to hoping we get along for another week or two. So anyway, it's been a crazy time for me. A very exciting time, too, because I finally, everybody knows that I've worked in this radio industry for the past 6-7 years, almost 8 years. And, people always ask me, well, how did you get into this? How did you, start doing this? And I always say, I just showed up. And this was back in the day when D.C. and Maryland and Virginia was big on charity and big on giving back and big on showcases and things like that. So I would just show up and be like, hey, you want to be on my show? Flash forward to all these years later, all these shows later, and I'm grateful to be here. And I finally have this chance to break through the glass ceiling into terrestrial radio, which means AM, FM radio, which is coming up soon. So fingers crossed for me, everybody. No, I'm not going to put your music on there, but it feels so great for me to be able to clock in at a certain radio station that I've always been a huge fan of and have had a lot of influence on me, which there's two main radio stations, and I'm lucky to call a lot of them my colleagues and my peers and my friends now because I used to just be that random girl and they didn't know who the hell I was. And so now, coming through it all, I'm so grateful, especially since it's been a crazy past couple of years. Everybody knows, that my show focuses, yes, on local talent and, music and obviously celebrity news and stuff, but it also focuses on the mental health that we don't talk about within our community and the addictions and the things that really need to be talked about. So don't forget, as I think about mental health and talk about that, I just kind of want to shoot to the suicides that have been going on, a lot of them from the Parkland, killings and things like that went on in the school shooting, and now we have people committing suicide off of that. One of the people from Prodigy and all of these people that we know that are committing suicide, and I just want to say that, there's always a brighter end, a light at the end of the tunnel. And, what happened to me all those, a couple of years ago in that car accident, and it's shaken me up and putting me into a bad mindset. Like, I know what it's like to feel like, okay, well, maybe, why am I still here, And it takes a certain person to reach out, but it also takes a certain person to kind of pick themselves up from that and to start over and be that phoenix from the fire and just don't give up, If I was to continue to party like nothing happened in my life and ignore the concussion that I got and self-medicate and all these types of things, I probably would not be here today. And I say that now with like encouragement to let people know that it's okay to seek the help that you need. It's okay to reach out to your friends and your people around you because us as a society, as a black, as black people, it's not something that we do, counseling and, medication and taking care of our mental health is something that has been passed down from generation to generation to just ignore. And, even my mother and my parents being Marines, it was always like, okay, you are the daughter of 2 Marines, just get over it. You know what I mean? Life goes on and toughen up, and just work through it. And yeah, that was great advice because, yeah, I'm a strong, independent, don't need no man type of woman. But the double-edged sword is that I would ignore certain things that were, killing me mentally and physically. And it feels good to come out on the other side. 1-800-273-TALK is the number if you need it, anybody to talk to. And everybody knows how you can reach me at FranACO505 on Instagram, or you can call me here at the station at 240-719-2560. If you know me personally, just call my line. I will always be here for you. And I say that in remembrance of my friend Candace all those years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, where I've seen a lot of people in my life kind of just give up, and, certain people called me and I didn't answer the phone, and I, don't want to ever have that happen again. I always want you to feel like you can reach out to me because I've been where you've been. So I don't want to talk about too much heavy stuff, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows what my show is now. I know that it's kind of weird because it used to be all about the music and all about the drama and all about the gossip and all about the next celebrity and all these different things, and that was great. It feels wonderful, and it feels awesome to be socially on top and all those types of things, but remember, nobody cares when the tears of a clown fall down. You have to remember that you need to be there for your strong friends, even when they're smiling and they're happy and they're popping bottles and everything is amazing. Those are the people you have to look to and make sure that you're checking in on and being a true friend too. So now that that's out of the way, let's get into some even more unnecessary news and talk about this Cardi B situation. And everybody knows I wouldn't normally speak about Cardi B because, I'm old. Like, people think I'm a lot younger, and I'm holding on to that. Like, I really am. Like, my favorite movie is Death Becomes Her. Have you ever seen that movie where they drink the potion just to stay young, and they're like spray painting? That's my favorite movie of all time, which is weird because I used to feel bad about getting older. My birthday is coming. It's Cinco de Mayo, and so I can't get away from my birthday, May the 5th, because everybody who's Mexican is celebrating it. I get free tequila. White people and black people don't even know why they're celebrating it, but they do. So I can't get away because it's always a party. And so for the past year and a half, I've been like working on my birthday, just being kind of sober, just totally taking it easy. Thank you for everybody who's sending me messages of support and things like that. So I'm holding on to hope that I can still look like this going into my 40s, which is coming soon. But I say that because I'm not really in tune to the new music today, and Cardi B is literally 10 years younger than me, so it's like, I'm always rooting for people to win in this society, in this situation, in this music, but the music of today, I finally am one of those older folks who like shakes their fist, like, get a haircut, you dirty hippies, like, type of thing, because the music doesn't make sense to me and I hate it. And so, but everybody tells me like I have to like conform and at least play some of these and weird bird calls and stuff like that. And in actuality, the only bird call I recognize was from Birdman. Like, that's my generation. That's my era. I'm still, backing that ass up. So it's crazy when there's people who remake these songs and now I understand how my parents and sometimes Ron and people, and my age and my circle feel when the music, it always comes full circle and a sample. So Cardi B is a lesson to everybody to, people don't really believe that, they think I'm hiding things because I'm super private with my life and I don't really get on I'm on social media, and I had to learn the hard way, obviously, as I grew to not just say whatever. I used to throw out these random shock jock things and talk shit about the Beehive and Beyonce until I got death threats, and then I learned you can't do that. But at the same token, it's like I've always knew that I was kind of different and knew that I would be in the public eye in some way, one way or another. So I made sure that I didn't say crazy wild things and do wild crazy things and take naked pictures and film myself having sex and all these crazy things, because I knew at some point somebody's probably going to expose you, right? The thing about Cardi B and the reason why she's so is so loved and endeared by people because she makes people who come from a certain class of people feel like they can make it too, which is amazing. I love that about her. And let's say, I used to live in the Bronx for a hot second, and it's like a pressure cooker. It's a place where there's murders every day, there's drugs on every corner, there's fights, and it's just a really hard place to grow up. And so if anybody makes it out of the Bronx, I am, Big Punisher's my number one. So if anybody can make it out of the Bronx, that is an amazing thing. And she had all these things against her, being a stripper, being from the Bronx, being super self-proclaimed ratchet, you know what I mean, and all these different things. And I also have, being a bartender for 20 years, mixology has introduced me to a lot of people, especially strippers, okay? And not because I really wanted to, but I've never been the person to take my clothes off, so I'm always the bartender who keeps their clothes on and just makes the drink. But with that saying, in the strip club, there's always maybe 2 of them that are strippers with a heart of gold. You know what I mean? There's always those 2. And everybody else is pretty much there to be strippers. So, it says something to me to see her kind of grow and do her thing, and she doesn't have to dance anymore. She made money moves. Like, that's an amazing thing. Back in the day when I used to get into it with Wale, before that, I used to say, Wale has middle America, kind of, then at that time, middle America, white women with pearls vacuuming their floor, singing, rapping to his music, to his CDs and things like that. And that's how you kind of know that you truly made it, when you have, the suburban America, listening to your music, playing your music. So when Bodak Yellow came out and everything, that was a huge big deal because, Paris Hilton and all these random people you would never think were like, oh my God, she's everything, I love her, whatever. But, it's like a beautiful story, a rise to the top, but at the same token, you cannot run from your past. And I used to feel like, and I still feel that way now, I kind of put all of my demons, I don't tell a lot of my personal business because that'll come out later, but most of my things that I would ever feel insecure about, or I feel like Cardi B just kind of put it all out there so nobody could really expose her for anything. When you put your shit out there, people can't really throw anything back in your face. But we all have to think, it depends on what those things are. And Cardi was saying things as an Instagram person 3 years ago, and she was saying how she drugged men and took them to the room and robbed them for their money. And to me, it's not really shocking because I know a lot of women who do that. And that's a sad thing. It's a sad state of affairs. But, when you work as a bartender for so many years, you kind of see the bottom feeders of society, and you see lawyers and doctors and politicians being some of the really most horrible people you could ever see doing. When I lived up here and I was living in this place and I saw a lot of police and a lot of people within the community you wouldn't expect doing a lot of bad things. And, I just kind of was like, well, if you're going to take a stripper back to a hotel room, you're probably going to open yourself up to whatever it is that she's going to do to you. That's an unpopular opinion, and I get in trouble for those all the time. But in saying that, it's kind of like the Bobby Shmurda is happening at this moment. Imagine coming out with this huge hit or being this huge big deal that comes out, and in a whirlwind, in 1 year, it all comes crashing down. That's it's not that's a sad thing. It's a sad state of affairs, but we've watched her grow and become a better person, and allegedly, and allegedly she actually did these things, but, I always tell the younger people in the younger crowd, stop taking those nudes, stop sending those photos, stop putting your business online, and stop saying all these ratchet things just to go viral. And in this instance, it happened for her, and it made it for her, but now look. And that's one take on that story and that subject. But I also say this all the time when it came down to Fab, when it came down to R. Kelly, when it came down to Bill Cosby. What goes for one has to go for everybody else. It's an unpopular opinion. I know people are going to tell me to die and all these different things that they tell me to do whenever I talk bad about their queen, or whenever I was saying things about R. Kelly that they didn't necessarily like. You can't kind of cancel all these other people and say we need to send certain people to Bill Cosby is what, 70, 80, something years old and you're prosecuting him for something that Janice Dickinson said happened, 30 years ago. It's a horrible thing, and it's just not right. I'm not saying, disclaimer, I'm not saying that he shouldn't pay for his crimes. I'm not saying that R. Kelly shouldn't pay for their crimes, but I just remember, there's a lot of people who put on their records, the rape and let's talk about Rick Ross. Let's talk about all these different people, put Molly in her drink and she didn't even know it. He lost his Reebok deal or whatever, but was Rick Ross canceled? He wasn't. What goes for one has to go for all. So where are y'all going to put Cardi B? You're going to put her with Rick Ross, or are you going to put her with Bill Cosby? You know what I mean? It's one of the two. I was watching this thing online, this little meme or whatever, this little video, and they were showing R. Kelly, and he was talking about, now that we're speaking about him and my unpopular opinions, and he was saying how he had, when he was young, like 7, his mother would come home and she would drink this cup of coffee with her red lipstick, and she would leave it on the cup. And he developed this crush on his mother as a child and would drink from the side of the coffee cup that she put her lipstick on. And everybody was just laughing and saying, this man needs to go. He's sick. He's disgusting. He's despicable. And I'm not taking away from his crimes. If R. Kelly allegedly molested or raped any young child, I'm not talking about these grown women who, it's a whole other subject, but I'm talking about these young children that he supposedly allegedly raped, he deserves to be under the jail. But at the same token, why are we laughing when this man is seriously saying years ago, I had a crush on my mother and I loved her red lipstick and it is everything to me, and you're making a joke out of it? Common sense would tell you that not only did his sister allegedly rape and molest this man, but multiple women in his family probably did the same. So you probably have to think R. Kelly is stunted at a mental age of when women were taking advantage of him in a sexual way and said it was okay, made it out to be okay. And I'm not excusing his crimes, but stop and think a little bit of the mentality of somebody who would even say something like that. A 7-year-old kid does not know to have a crush on anybody, much less his mother. So what I'm saying is you have to think about the deeper things that are going on. I'm not saying completely cancel, Cardi, because she doesn't stand for anything I stand for. I'd much rather listen to Lauryn Hill, or, Remy, or anybody who doesn't necessarily, I'm not saying that because she's a friend of mine, but I'm just saying like people who don't necessarily have to be sexual to sell their music. I'm not saying that. But, think about the mentality that Cardi B probably had to do living in the Bronx and being probably raped a few times in her life, and as a stripper and things like that. It's a hard, sad world we live in, and I feel kind of bad for her. I wouldn't have said this maybe a month ago when I was completely talking trash, but there's a lot of different things that go into these situations, and now we're in this day and age that we just cancel people and we don't look at the deeper issue when it comes down to it. And I think that you have to look towards, maybe the men that will possibly come forward and say, she did this to me. If it was a male who did this to somebody else, would people have the same reaction? It's not. The hashtag surviving Cardi B, is that funny? It's not a joke to me, and I just think that the world has really gone nuts, things that are just being spoken about as a joke and that are happening and not tapping into the true existence and feelings and reasons why people do what they do is a really sad thing. I don't like throwing people away like they're nothing. I don't like I can't play Cardi B's music now. I can't play R. Kelly's music now, or all these different things because or then I'm a rapist, and that's what somebody said, on my Facebook. And it's like, it truly is a sad thing, but call me, 240-719-2560. Let me know how you feel about the Cardi B issue. I know a lot of people call me after the show to tell me their, opinion, but, this is an impartial place here, and you're able to just say and be and do yourself. And if you have an opinion on it, let me know. So also quickly, before we get into our special guest today, I want to talk about the Jussie Smollett case. Again, we have somebody who probably has a lot of deeper issues going on. I myself will say I don't believe him for a second. I might get a lot of heat for that later, but it is what it is. What do we do with a society now where, people can just say things and stir up all of these emotions in people and for what? And it's a surprising, shocking thing that, you hear that prosecutors are being paid off. And for people who don't know, Jussie Smollett is on the show Power. I don't Empire. I don't watch either one, obviously. I'm not into scripted shows, but and supposedly said that he was, beaten up by white people, and they said this is MAGA country and all these things, but then you show these two big buff black men, and it's just so wild. It's a crazy thing that you would think you would only see on Empire or on Power. Like, only somebody who was in the business could really kind of make up or go through something like that, right? And I don't want to, because I know it'll always come back to haunt me later. If it is true, I feel bad for the man and the situation that happened, but just think of the stain that it put on his sisters and their family, who was like a dynasty in Hollywood. And, his little sister, being on Full House and being on Eve's Bayou and Journey, and the fact that was it Journey? Okay, thanks. And so the fact that he has put this little stain, when things happen and it's in the media and it's all swirled around, like, yeah, he might have gotten off, maybe on this. But just think about people like George Zimmerman, who shot Trayvon Martin. Yeah, he may have gotten off, but that man wakes up every single day afraid for his life. Every single day he has to think about what he did and know that somebody sooner or later may or not take his life. He has to be in fear for the rest of his life. So is he truly facing his justice? Yeah, he is, He is living a life that I wouldn't want to live. I wouldn't want to be that one, Jodi Arias or whoever that one lady is who killed her kid, and now she's just working at a bar, where people can recognize her any day and call her a child killer. So you have to think about, when it comes to Jesse, yeah, this happened. He may or may not have gotten away with it, but for the rest of his career, who's going to want to work with him? Who's going to want to be tied to that? Is he ever going to come back to Empire? People on his own show don't even want him on there. So it's a lot. It's a lot how the media and the people and the social media and the things have all swirled up. So I say that to say, before we go to a quick break, think about what you're doing. Think about what you're saying. Think about the consequences of your actions, because things don't always go the way that you think. And your lies and your stories and the things that you put out there can always come back on you and to haunt you. And I'm not a perfect person in any way, but I try to make sure that I walk a good line, even though I've been a gangster for a long, long time. I've done some horrible, fucked up shit. But at the same token, you can change your life and you can start over and you can take accountability and you can end that life and stop the cycle. So that way, people cannot expose you for things. So people cannot hold things against you and just kind of cancel you out and throw you away. So we're going to come back and we're going to do an interview with the great Moshe. And he's also going to play some beautiful music for us. But really quickly, I want to play some music from a local artist. Quite a few local artists have been sending their music to me, and I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. This is coming from Jaden Styles out of Virginia. And this song, sorry, I'm not a good DJ, okay? Thanks. This song is called Want Me by Jaden Styles out of Virginia. I'll be right back on the Fantastic Live Show.
I guess I hit you back up with a text tonight. You sliding in the DMs, think you who you missing slide. So persistent and confident, I see you in the light. You get excited, start the fire, throw away the ice. I know she got that cat, know she got that yeah. When she's doing these tricks on the floor, I don't know what to say. Yeah. Who she wanna play? Who she wanna date? Yeah. Sister, you sexy, big booty, back, he call you. Turn it down, she on fire, say it loud, I need you right. Take it down, nice and slow, let me show you extra. Lips are locked up in the closet, can we stay forever? Checks on checks, my racks on decks, I see it in your eyes. Tell me you are coming over, so I do you right. Devilish intent, you twisted, ooh, you like the vibes. Freak on the leash, she's nice, freak on me, baby. I make love into the rose. Yeah, yeah. I make love into the rose. Turn it down, she on fire. you extra. Lips are locked up in the closet, can we stay forever? Sometimes I feel like it's psychic, cause I'm always right. Wearing Victoria's Secret, cause you bout that life. Laura Croft in disguise, now that she got the knife. She Catwoman every night, you see the love in my eyes. Tell me who the best now, tell me who the best now. And if they don't know, I got to lay low. Stick together like glue, I got the juice, can't let go, Velcro. You never wanna get old, Hot Topic, you the new J-Lo. Hot Topic, you the new railroad. Slow-mo with a no-low, you burn it down, so fire, say it loud. I need you right, take it down, nice and sweet. Let me show you extra. Lips are locked up in the closet, can we stay forever?
in Florida, just laying on the beach. Like, welcome back to the Fantastic Live Show. Each and every Saturday, we are here from 7:45 to 8:45 or longer. 240-719-2560. I can't wait to go camping, by the way, Ron. I'm going to go camping. Do black people go camping? Good, because somebody asked me to go, and I need that peace. I need that energy. So anyway, obviously, I'm not here by myself. Everybody, a round of applause for Moshe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to the Fantastic Live Show. I really, really, really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm going to ask you some questions so the audience can get to know you. I'll find out a little bit more about you. But it says right here that you're going to be playing at you're an international trombone sensation, which is not easy because it's like you're just the actual breath and your arms have to hurt every day. So there's going to be put on by Stone Street Entertainment on April 7th. There's going to be live music by you, like you're the headlining superstar of this.
Yes.
How excited are you for this?
Super excited. You know, I love working with my dear friend Dolores Gibbs in Stone Street Entertainment. Big shout out to Dolores, by the way.
Shout out to her, absolutely. Yeah. For anybody who wants to know, it's the other side of the world in Waldorf, apparently, on Crane Highway. And I say that because, you know, everybody says that Baltimore is a whole other planet, so Waldorf must be like, you know, Saturn or something.
Yeah, Waldorf always get the bad end of the stick.
True.
You know, Waldorf Airlines and all the other crazy jokes.
But I mean, clearly I'm not clearly, but I'm from California. So, you know, coming here and me always having to, I live in Virginia. So I always have to travel everywhere in Maryland and D.C. So it doesn't stop me if it says Waldorf or, wherever Baltimore. I'm going to go. You know, if there's something that I want to see or do or play or whatever, I'm going to do that.
We need love, too, down there.
Is that where you live?
Yes.
Are you from Waldorf?
No. We've been there for like maybe 4 or 5 years now. So.
And you love it?
Yeah.
Is it a really what would you compare it to for people who, I think I've been there maybe 2 or 3 times, but would you compare it to any place for people who've never really been there?
I mean, it's just a small town, you know, a few stores and some houses.
Oh, really? It's like
like
you know, Shay's wife is over here. She's like, really?
I mean, you know, it's the suburbs, you know. So
is it like a one stoplight town where you know everybody?
It's a little bigger than that.
Okay.
But you will know everybody though, because everybody's shopping the same stores. You're gonna see them over and over.
Gotcha.
You know.
So where did you say you were from originally?
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Wow. So what school did you go to?
Well, I actually went to school in the South. We moved south after my parents divorced. Oh. So after I grew up, I came back north.
Did you? So what school did you end up having to go to?
I don't even want to mention it.
He doesn't want to mention it, and that's okay. That's all right. So do you come from a big family or just like a smaller family? I know divorce is kind of rough on children.
Immediate, small is just me and my 2 brothers.
2 brothers.
Yeah.
So your immediate family is all boys, really?
Yeah.
Are you the oldest or the youngest? The youngest?
Baby boy.
Do your brothers play any instruments or have any musical inclinations?
They used to. You know, they got away from it. I'm the only one that really stuck with it. So.
Do you feel like, you know, do you feel like that, like in your household was kind of like any music inspiring you?
Well, yes. Well, everybody in my family, all the males play something.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that something that just naturally you guys picked up, or your mother was like?
Well, it was a big staple in the church that we attended. So
gotcha.
Everyone picked up some kind of instrument and played it. And I got stuck on trombone, actually. It wasn't my first choice.
What was your first choice?
The sousaphone, the tuba.
The sousaphone.
I fell in love with that. My father played as well, so he played sousaphone and trombone.
So how many instruments do you play all together?
6.
6 instruments. What are those?
I can't even. Euphonium, which is baritone.
Okay.
Trombone, trumpet.
But that's a wood.
Those are all brass.
Brass instruments. Gotcha.
Did I say sousaphone already?
Yes.
Okay. Drums, trumpet. What else do I play? That's probably it.
No guitar.
That ain't 6, is it?
No, that's like 3.
But
like, you know what? That's all right.
That's like 2 and a half.
2 and a half.
Nobody knows what those instruments are.
So it's okay because nobody really knows anyway.
Yeah,
so they're just going to be wild, shocked, and amazed anyway. You could say the guitar, and they're still going to be.
Yeah, I can play guitar.
That's cool. I had one, but I pawned that bitch. So anyway, you can't play it when you have the nails and stuff, and then it makes your fingers callous and bleed.
Yeah, you have to. build up that callus so you can.
No. I want to. What kind of man wants a woman with like calluses all over her hands? Sorry for women who have calluses. There's somebody for everybody. So anyway, so who were your biggest influences growing up?
Growing up, musically, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye. I mean, I guess you could say the usual. You know, Marvin Gaye, Temptations. I love those guys. Sam Cooke. So I'm an old soul. So
Clearly, how old are you now?
I will be 40 this year.
Really? I never would have thought that. That's so crazy. Talk about me. Death becomes her, like, you know. Yeah, you definitely, I never would have thought 40, but that also shows all of the, like, you have a lot of depth and shows all the things that you've been through and seen. And, you know, when you grow up in the DMV area, even Baltimore, like, you are automatically in a place that is musically just, you know, just an epicenter of music and things
so
like
much
that.
talent.
So what's your earliest, like, tell us about, you know, you got out of school and you still, you had this talent. Did you play the trombone, like in school also? Like,
I played in school for a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know why I didn't stick with it in school. I think it didn't pique my interest. What they were playing, I didn't want to play. It wasn't.
Gotcha.
So I think after, 9th grade, and then I went back in high school and played in a jazz band. So.
That's cool. But
after school, I kind of put it down. I was just playing in church a little bit, but that's about it. It wasn't until like 2012.
Really?
Yeah, when I really decided that I wanted to make a career out of it.
And how did you go about doing that?
My cousins, we played on 7 and F in front of the Verizon Center.
Gotcha.
And we just played out there almost every day. And, you know, gigs started coming from that. And then one thing led to another, and then here we are.
So you're able to make a living.
Yes.
Doing what? Playing, you know, you're playing an instrument. And I also, what was the question I was going to ask you? Oh, can you read music, or did you just like learn by ear?
I self-taught.
Really?
And I play by ear, and I read a little bit as well.
That's so crazy.
I don't use it that much, so, but I'm working on it. The wife stays on me about getting back on it.
Oh, that's what she's here for. Hello. No, I'm just saying. I think that that's a beautiful thing, because it was so difficult for me to read music. It wasn't something that, you know, high school in itself was hard, but then you're a band geek, you know, and then you're trying to learn music and things like that. And I was like, wait, I want to be like a cheerleader, but I couldn't because I was fat, and then nobody liked me and all these different things. It's like, okay, well, fine. So I joined the ROTC anyway, so people wouldn't be mean to me. But anyway, that's my life, not yours. But with that saying, so you came in today and you played at a wedding. And so is that something that you normally get to do, is to play at weddings? And
you know, wedding is getting warm, so it's wedding season coming.
Which is good for both of us.
Yes, so you're right, right. So, yeah, I played at just about everything, from weddings to funerals to bar mitzvahs to backyard parties to...
People don't understand. There's divorce parties and quinceañeras, and there's all kinds of crazy shit that we do, that we attend and do work for or whatever. So, but is that your favorite thing? It's probably the weddings and things like that?
My favorite thing probably is the wedding, because it's, you know, it's a happy occasion and everybody just want to have a good time after the ceremony. And
do you still play in your church?
I do, every week.
Do you want to say what church you go to?
Spirit of Faith.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Do you have children now?
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
This will always shock everybody. I have 7 children.
7 kids?
Yes.
Like, you have 7 kids, but you guys don't have 7 kids? Do you really have, did you give birth 7 times? No. Okay, I was just saying, like, oh my God, that's hard. I mean, no, I don't have any kids, clearly. So are any of your kids musically inclined, was the reason why I asked that question.
Yes, they are. They don't use it, but they are. A few of them draw. So my oldest daughter's in school now. What's the name of that school? CSM. She go to CSM, and she's studying graphic arts or something like that.
Especially now.
But she's awesome. She's an awesome artist. But she wants to be a photographer. So.
Does she? It's still in the arts. It's still an amazing thing, and I just hope that I get to have kids that are like, you know, that are inspired by something and choose to, you know, because I mean, I could have 7 kids and they could all end up in jail. You never know. So hopefully, instead, I can have, you know, 7 kids, and one would be an artist, and one would be a trombone player, and one would play the sousaphone. Sorry,
sousaphone. I have one that plays. She plays the bass, and then another one is a makeup artist.
Really?
So they, you know, the reason why I say they don't use it because they don't go as hard as they could, but. but they are very inclined in what they do.
It's like hereditary or something. Like they have to. You know what I mean? That's just so crazy. That's awesome. That's a beautiful thing. And the more kids, the better that are, you know, being productive members of society is how I look at it, you know, and I think that's an amazing thing. So what we're going to have you do, we're going to go take a break. That's why I'm like zooming through, because I want to make sure people get the full effect of what you do. And first of all, if anybody needs to find you or locate you or book you, how would they do that?
MosheMusic.com. or Moshe Music, Moshe at MosheMusic.com is the email, or info at Moshe Music. What is my Instagram? Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Tumblr, everything is at Moshe Music.
Gotcha. The best way to do that is to just, you know, kind of keep everything similar and the same. So what is your next goal? If you weren't playing the trombone or being in music at all, where would you be and what would you be doing?
That's a great question. I would be at home cutting the grass and doing yard work and, you know, all the other things that's on the honey-do list that I don't get a chance to get to. But far as for work, I don't know. I like working with my hands, so I don't know.
Which is great, and that's how we can tell that he's 40, because nobody else younger than us knows how to fix anything. I mean, when somebody accidentally put that dent in the side of that truck, clearly it wasn't me. You know, one of these guys was like, yeah, just get some Gorilla Glue and just stick the, you know, the little piece came off the side, the plastic. Whatever, I didn't say I knew anything about it, but you could tell the difference between men, because the one guy, he was like 30, he's like, just take Gorilla Glue and stick the piece back on there, whereas a grown-ass man, Eddie Bryant, was like, you know, go get these little pieces that you stick, and then you take it and you hinge it back on the little piece. Does that make sense? Probably not, but it shows your age, because most men don't know how to do anything with their hands, and I'm like, ew. So that's a beautiful thing, but, you know, in all seriousness, to be able to just kick back, because I know what kind of life this is. It's a whirlwind. Being in the music industry is fickle. And it's not easy, and it's a lot of competition for no reason.
For no reason.
Especially in the DMV area. I know there's like 20 trombone players who are like, well, I'm better than him, and I'll take him down so I can, you know, step on his grave just to get to where he is. And, you know, and it's serious, you know, business,
that's real.
right?
It's real. It's like the everyday. But I've learned to just do me. And what's for me, I get it. And the competition thing, that's not for me. So you want to compete, you know, do your thing.
Right. Compete by yourself.
Yeah, compete by yourself.
That's a beautiful thing, and I love that your wife is here supporting you. I love that you have, you know, you come from a good family, you still go to church, and amazing things are going to happen for you, like being an international trombone sensation. April 7th, brought to you by Stone Street Entertainment. You guys, you see it right here, right? Make sure that it's this grown folks music, so don't come there, you know, looking for anything trap or with bird sounds or anything weird like that, okay? So general admission is $25. It starts at 6 p.m. Food for purchase. I bet you the food is going to be so good. Like, I go for the food, honestly. Advanced table reservation or ticket reservations, just call 240-435-7126 or email stonestreetmusic with a Z at gmail.com. That's music with a Z, the old Waldorf school. So does that mean everybody's going to know what that is because it says the old Waldorf school?
I think so. If you're from the area, you would know.
You'll know.
But it's across the street from Best Buy.
Okay, so that makes it even, you know, more secure area that people will know. So
it's behind Checkers.
Behind Checkers.
Behind Checkers.
Because when people ask me, you know, where Vox is, I'm like, you know where the Red Lobster is? They're like, oh yeah. So you
same
know,
parking lot.
So the same parking lot. So we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna try to play some music that's not gonna get me blocked. You got okay. So, did we have to switch? So here, I'm just going to play something real quick, and then we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with Moshe. I'm so excited. Thank you for being here. Sorry it was so quick, but
no problem.
You can always come back. Okay?
Sure.
This is not goodbye.
No.
See you later.
See you later.
Make sure you come back to the Fantastic Live Show, and we will have live music from Moshe coming up next. the Fantastic Live Show, everybody. I'm MC Fran. We have a special guest that's up to play. Our guest Moshe is about to go on. So really quickly, I want to say thank you so much to everybody for tuning in to me every Saturday from 7:45 to 8:45. I'll be here next week, I'm pretty sure. And tune in as usual. But right now, I have the esteemed pleasure of introducing the international trombone playing sensation, Moshe.